Hello everyone, welcome back to Total Football Talk. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you're watching it. Thank you very much for joining me. I'm Keith, the host of this little channel, and we are going to look at all the latest news coming out of Manchester United. We're going to look at the top headlines, starting with Mainoo is making news, both one political saying one thing, the MCP, MPB are saying something else. So there's tons of news coming out about Kobbie, so we'll jump into that. We'll also look at the speaking of bits kind of filtering through about that. I was listening to the United Stand this morning, and they were talking about news coming out about Ruben Amorim having a good relationship with Andre Onana, but also the fact that Ruben Amorim is looking for a different profile of goalkeeper. And I mentioned it yesterday, but we'll have a look again at the goalkeeper in mention, and maybe another one that we looked at a little while ago and could potentially return to. We'll also look at what Jason Wilcox is saying about Semenyo, which is starting to filter through as well. Apparently Napoli are interested in Højlund. I mean, Napoli just want to buy all our players. They've already got Scott McTominay. They were obviously very keen on having Garnacho as a replacement for Carvajal, and now they're looking at Højlund as a potential striker. So interesting news coming out on that one. Manchester United have also identified, Ruben Amorim has identified the little last bit of news is Amad as a potential right wing back, in case obviously we didn't get Quenda, so it looks like Ruben Amorim's going to have to come up with an alternative solution, and if it means having to save money on the transfer market, then that's what we're going to have to do. There's also other news coming out about Manchester United and who else is going to be leaving the club, and a little bit on the strikers as well, which was talked about yesterday. But we'll jump into the top news. So this was MUFC MPB were talking about Manchester United have made positive progress in talks with Mainoo over a new contract. Now, I would like to see Mainoo stay. I think he's a very talented player. He's 19. I think he's still finding his place in Ruben Amorim's system. I think in Ten Hag, we probably had a better idea of where Ten Hag wanted to see him flourish. I think Ruben Amorim is still trying to figure out where his best position is. Is he better as an 8 or a 10? For me, I think, and some people would probably disagree, but get your comments in below. I would love to see Kobbie play in that 10 position. I think just before he got in European, it was against when we played Star Bucharest. I think he had a brilliant game that night, and unfortunately has kind of been picked up in injury, and he played in the 10 role. I think he played in a role, he dropped deeper in the game after that, in the league game. Maybe that's where he got injured. But I think the 10 role, because that's where he played when he was a youngster in the academy. Now, I appreciate, and especially having spent so much time watching youth football recently, players get moved around a lot, and they never really kind of settle into the position until they're much older. And I think that maybe Kobbie's in this team, and he's maybe Ruben Amorim, I think, would maybe like to play him as a 10. But one thing I will say is, I really hope that we do keep him, because there was another story coming out from Plenty Gold, and this was interesting. Manchester United are confident that they will be able to invest in top transfers in this summer, especially as the budget will be freed up through the possible planned sales and departures of Victor Lindelof, Christian Eriksen, and Mainoo, and also the sales of Marcus Rashford and Antoine would also provide the club with an even greater sort of financial flexibility. Now, Pletico has been pretty good at Manchester United over the last couple of years, and he's obviously dropping in the Mainoo story that Mainoo's for sale. So obviously I have on my thumbnail title, Kobbie to stay, Kobbie to go. Which is it? But one thing that was very kind of poignant from what Jim Radcliffe said in his interview with Gary Neville, and that was Mainoo and Garnacho will not be sold because they're young talent. And I hope, because I still believe in these two kids, and I believe they've got high ceilings. Now, what I will say is, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, if Ruben Amorim thinks that they're not right for his system, and he thinks he can bring in better players, then you know what? I'll trust the manager, and if he wants to move these players on, I'm fully behind him. But if he believes that these kids are good enough and that they've got ceilings that they haven't even gone to yet, and he wants to keep them, I don't think the board should be selling them. And as I said, Jim Radcliffe said very clearly in that interview that he will not be selling those players. So I'm taking him for his word. Now, I know circumstances can change. People can change their mind, and I appreciate all that. But I think because of the history of Manchester United and what it stands for, the DNA is the youth and attacking football. attacking football we're just starting to see again little glimpses of, but the youth is very key. And obviously we've seen Amas come through, he's brought in Heaven, we're working with Euro. There's lots of young players that are starting to filter through now, which is brilliant. But I would like to see Kobbie and Garnacho hopefully stick around, and that we don't have to sell either of them. And obviously in relation to Mainoo, if we can sell Anthony and we can sell Rashford and we can get rid of Ericsson and Lindelof are going to walk, and Casemiro is the conundrum, because if he's not going to go, he's sticking around on high wages. Kobbie is the one who you could potentially sell, and he's coming into the last 2 years of his contract. So if you're going to sell Kobbie and you're going to make good money from him, it's probably going to have to be done this summer. Otherwise, you're going to have to find a contract for him. You're going to have to, come to an agreement with what he wants and what the club feel is right for him and make it work, especially if you're going to keep him in a Ruben Amorim system. So that's where we are with that. So drop your comments in below. What do you guys think on the Kobbie Mainoo kind of in or out scenario? So moving on to Semenyo, and this is Jason Wilcox is a big fan of Semenyo, and Bournemouth are looking for between 30 to 34 million to sell him this summer. Now Semenyo is I think he fits what Ruben Amorim wants. He's technically good, he's athletic, he's quick. He covers the ground really well, and he has skill, and I think he ticks a lot of boxes. Now, for me, is he the right person to bring in, as a 10? I actually got a feeling that Bournemouth are probably going to want more than that. I don't know if 30 million we get him for that. If we did, interesting profile of player, would I like to see him come in? I'm not sure at this particular stage. I'd like to see a bit more of him. He's done very, very well for Bournemouth this season, but one season, and now Bournemouth fans will probably obviously be able to know a lot more than I would know, so I'm not entirely sure about this one. But interesting that Jason Wilcox has kind of identified this as a player that Manchester United may want in the future. And look, this is what we was talking about before. This was Napoli have explored exploratory contact about signing Rasmus Højlund in the summer. Manchester United have started the asking price of around 50 million. Now, 50 million. Do you think Rasmus is worth 50 million, considering the form he's been through and all the troubles he's had to deal with in the last this whole season? Actually, it's been awful for the kid. He's had an absolute nightmare. I know in the last couple of games he had an assist in our league game, and then obviously he scored in the Europa League. He scored at the weekend there. My brain's gone blank. Who did we play at the weekend? Leicester, sorry. He took his goal really well against Leicester, and against Athletic or Real Sociedad, he had that very, very good assist. I think he actually played better in the Sociedad game, but strikers are seen on their goals, and he scored a goal against Leicester, which was really important for his confidence. Interesting one. As I said before, Napoli are interested in a lot of our players. I'm not sure why, but obviously they are, and I've got a funny feeling that Højlund won't go. I think he will stick around. I'm hoping he has a good run between now and the end of the season and helps us get us towards that Europa League final if possible. And then he gets a full summer under the system with Ruben Amorim, and maybe next year he comes out. And if Ruben Amorim feels he's not the right player and we have to sell him, well, we're going to have to sell him and try and we'll probably end up breaking even the way a monetization works with him at 50 million, maybe make a little bit on him, but got to be careful. If we do sell him, who we need to bring in? There was talk yesterday about 4 strikers. It was Victor Osimhen, Gyökeres, I think Jonathan David, and there was a fourth one. I can't remember who the fourth one was now. But that was obviously after the spin of the ticket prices are going up, and now these are 4 strikers that we're considering. I think Victor Gyökeres or Osimhen for me we'd have to bring them in, but I think we'd actually need to keep Højlund as well, because we can't just have one main striker. Maybe if we're out of Europe, slightly different, but I think Højlund will stay. I don't think he'll go, even though Napoli may be interested in him. But get your thoughts in below. What do you think? Do you think we should keep Højlund? I'm kind of an advocate for Højlund, but I fully understand that people don't rate him at all because of the poor season he's had. But yeah, it'd be interesting to hear what you guys say. Manchester United, before going any further, guys, thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for all the subscribes and the likes. Really, really appreciate it. They're absolutely flying up. I'm absolutely blown away by it. If you're enjoying today's video, right hand corner of the screen, we tap of the like of the subscribe would be amazing. We tap the like would be great. If you want to share the content, happy days too. Let me crack on with it. Okay, so Manchester United have identified Lille's goalkeeper Lucas Chevalier as a 40 million replacement for Andre Onana. I'm just going to bring this in quickly because on the United stand they were talking about this morning that they had news coming out that Ruben Amorim is gets on really well with Onana, but I think they want a different type of goalkeeper. We looked at Suzuki whenever Ten Hag was here as a possible replacement for De Gea, and now Suzuki is with Parma and doing very well. I believe he was in the Belgium league whenever we were looking at him. Very, very good goalkeeper, very, very up and coming goalkeeper. But I think he's going to cost around 40 million now. So I don't know whether we can afford that, because you're going to have to sell Onana, and I don't actually know who's going to buy him. I don't actually know if you're going to make any money on him. And obviously we have other places in the team that really need to be filled. But Onana, or Ruben Amorim, would like to replace Onana, and he wants a different profile of goalkeeper. And if you look at what Pep did, Pep had to go through a few goalkeepers before he got to Edison, and I almost feel like we're going through that at the minute. That's that process to try and find the goalkeeper that we need. But that's where we are with that. And then the final little bit of the story is, and this is Ruben Amorim is sort of refusing to rule out the possibility of deploying Amad as a wing back, considering the injuries they have and the missing out of Quenda. What do you think about Amad playing on the right side? Would you prefer Amad as a 10, or would you prefer him on the right side as a right wing back? On the right wing back, he maybe has more space to work in. On the wing, can he get up and down and do the defensive duties? I think so far he's proved he can. And yeah, it's an interesting one. But I actually think we did miss out on Quenda. I do think he did want Quenda. Quenda and Amad on the same side could have been absolutely brilliant. Unfortunately, Quenda has decided to go to Chelsea. And yeah, not a lot we can do about it. Now, there will be other right wing backs we will look at. Frimpong is one that you guys have mentioned quite heavily, and I am in agreement. Frimpong is the guy I would love to come in, because I would prefer to see Amad as a potential in the 10 role going forward and as an option. It looks like Bruno's going to be dropping a little bit deeper as he gets a little bit older. So that's where I am with all that. That's all your news this morning. Please get your thoughts and your comments in below. As I said, there's a lot of you guys that are watching the video, and I really, really appreciate it, that haven't subscribed but are coming back to the channel. If you guys could just, tap on the old subscribe button, that would be absolutely amazing. Would massively help me out, and yeah, help me grow and help us grow the community, because I love the fact that you guys are now starting to get your comments in, and they're coming in thick and fast, and I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it, guys. Really, really appreciate it. I'm going to go, and I shall see you tomorrow.